Okay, good afternoon, guys. Hope everyone is well. FOMC day. So it's actually, we started off with a really nice looking trend. Actually, really nice looking. I'm kind of sad I didn't step on the chart. Pushed up, bit of side was pushed up, bit of side was pushed up, bit of side was. I'm quite sad I didn't jump on maybe a little bit earlier, maybe around here or even possibly here. If you join that bar to that bar, it's lovely there, isn't it? It sort of looks like two legs, but it's unusual for an FOMC day. Usually we end up ranging. Having said that, yeah, we could start doing that. So there you go. So who have we got in? Let me have a look. Harmadur, how you doing, buddy? What? How are you, mate? So quiet actually. Only 8 in. That's pretty quiet actually. So. I'm a little, oh no, 5 minutes off market opening. So there you go. So let me just shut that down. So let me have a little look. Let me just check something. Okay. Right, good to go. Okay, so yeah, I had this like this originally, which still kind of fitted quite nice, but then I close it up a touch, and if you look there, touching nicely there, touching there, touching there, touching there, I think it's safe to assume that's a break. I've done that before, got into a trade up here, a couple of legs down, but that looks like a break to me, so I'm assuming that's a break. So just be careful here, because so many times we've had a couple of legs down, I've gone long and it's ticked above and came down and started ranging. So there you go. How are you getting on? What are you trading these days, What? Are you doing Penguin, or are you doing Pats, or you're doing sort of your own or something else? What are you doing? What are you up to? In fact, I had a couple of losses and a win yesterday, but I did, let me just find my trading charts. I did take another trade in the afternoon, which worked really well, actually. Let me just look at my trading charts. Doing, oh, how are you getting on with it? How are you getting on with it? How are you getting on with it? I like it. Still dealing with past bad habits. Yeah. Is he on? What's he doing in the day, mate? If you want, mate, I can get him back on here if you want. I'll happily put him back on here. I mean, I can't exactly. I took him off because it was stepping out the realms a little bit, and I was focusing on Pats a bit more. But even I'm trying to move different things, so you know, I'll happily put him back on here if you want, mate. I don't know what he's doing. Is he floating around on someone else's stream or what? I don't know. But I've got no problem in getting him back on here, mate. If it's something you want, if you want it, mate, let me know and I'll sort it out for you. Yeah, I think it was my fault really. For I see him, you know, winning, and then I jumped in. It was my own stupid fault, in all fairness. But then someone said, "Oh, we should really be focusing on Pats." Well, I'm not even focusing so much on Pats now. I'm keeping this sort of more open now. So if it helps you, mate, and you want him back on here, I got no problem with him. No problem with it whatsoever, mate. None at all. It was my own stupid fault, really, that happened. But if he's not doing anything, and you know you want him back on here, I don't know how to do it, but I'll figure it out. It is quieter today. I'm just wondering whether some people aren't trading because it is FOMC. I know a lot of people just don't bother FOMC day, but so far we've got a nice looking trend up there. Hey Ryan, how you doing, buddy? We got a nice looking trend. It's quite a nice looking trend. That's the type of trend that just could keep on going. I'll ask him. Not sure what he does at this time. Ask him. Let me know. And there's probably a way. I'll figure out. I'll have a look later. I'll figure out how to get someone back on. That was my fault. That was doing that. You see someone win, you get a bit too excited and jump in. So that was down to me, that one. Yeah, so find out what he's doing, mate. If it helps you or whatever, I don't mind getting back on, mate, honestly. Not a problem. So what are we going to do here? So there is always the possibility, and I've done this before. Lovely looking trend. You think, wow, that's great. Oh, look at this. Almost like a hidden second entry long. Then you go along and then it triggers and then comes down. And what it turns into then, is it turns into a range. So in other words, you think, well, yeah, look at that. Let's go long off here. It triggers up. And then what you've got is a lower high off the range. So I'm going to put that there for now. Have you ever traded the last 2 hours of FMC day? A couple of times, mate, yeah. In fact, it wasn't that long ago that it was a naff day and I came back later. It makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Because once you've had FOMC day, markets then tend to... Sometimes you can get a good trend then, can't you? If it's positive news, it moves off. And at the end of the day, if we can get a day like this, a good strong movement like this, it's pretty straightforward, up until about maybe here. We're just looking for longs, but I might start doing, mate, pop back after. I think it's about 7 o'clock. So when you're talking quarter past, sometimes you don't get a lot, but other times you get a bit of a spike and a bit of a run or whatever, and then it sort of stables out. But in fact, how often is it? Is it weekly or fortnightly or what? I don't know. I don't pay much attention to it. I just follow what it tells me on here. Is it? I'm sure is it fortnightly? Is it fortnightly? Because what I might start doing is having a break for an hour maybe, and then getting back on the chart. Maybe having a break at say 5:30, leaving the chart just run, and then coming back on here for FMC. And then it's like watching a fireworks show then, isn't it? Oh, is it every other month? Oh, really? I thought it was more often than that. Yeah, see, look at that. We've had a break and a new high and then coming down, see? Now, you could have had your channel like that, but in all fairness, touch, perfect. Yeah, best off do that, really. It stops you getting in long there, doesn't it? Not that you would. There was nothing else there anyway, but every other month or so, I think. I thought it was more often than that, but I tend to, I don't tend to get too much into the wins and the wears. I just tend to follow what my chart says. But yeah, I might pop back later. I have done a couple of times because sometimes if it's naff and it goes sideways, I just, you can get a bit bored. And if I've already had a win early, then I might finish early. But what's up yourself? History with a double Y. Are you a new face, are you? Are you a new face? Or not? Have I seen you before? Have I seen you before? Not sure. Where you from, buddy? Are you local, are you? UK or US? Probably US. Most of you guys are US, I think, aren't you? You're taking over the world. So, let me have a wee looky here. We got a channel down, possibly an overshoot. Are we going to push back up? From Singapore, we have talked before, haven't we? Did we chat the other day? And I'm just getting a bit of brain fog. Singapore. We chat the other day, didn't we? I'm sure we did. Because I said I've been there. Yeah, of course we did. It's all right. Yeah, the thing didn't ring a bell for a minute. Yeah, of course. I mentioned I'd been to Hong Kong, didn't I, when I was a young lad. Yeah, it was talking about marginal cost. Yeah. I got you. Another Singaporean. Another one from Singapore. Well, what do you know? Possibly something like that. Depends. So we got a leg up, break new high, leg down. It seems to be holding on that line. See what happens here. That's a possibility. Trouble is, it's hard to trust that. Really, so you'd really need a failure here, don't you? Maybe a second entry short there, something like that to trigger, and then a failure. Same thing for the same place. It's surprising, actually, you bump into, isn't it? It's a small world, really. Mind you, Singapore's a big place. It's not like someone's living next door to you and you never notice. Okay, that's tempting. Let's see what happens here. So, possible second entry short. If this triggers and pushes up, we may get a continuation of that. And we've got a leg up there, a break, and trouble is you've got to be careful that we are in a range, and this is just having a little bit of a pullback to the EMA, and then it's going to continue down. So we've got a leg there, possibly another leg down, or what I'd like to see is a bearish bar there to trigger. So we've got two pushes up, and if that triggers and then pushes up higher, we've got a failure then, and then I would think it's likely then to push on up, but we need a bearish bar for it to trigger and then to push up quite nicely. We'll see. So we get on. It's only a possibility that anyway. It's just I tend to draw them, but what I will say is I drew it to the first one and it's fitting right. Okay, that's nice.
Order submitted.
Put a buy order above there. Oh, did it get me? It kicked me out, didn't it?
Order submitted.
So there's a failure there. Now I'm doing a bit of pats and a bit of hold on a second. Leg up, leg up. I might have been trapped here. Leg up, leg up. Let's have a look. Oh no, I think we're okay. I'm doing a bit of pats and yeah, I don't like that. Good leg. I've been trapped here, I think. I'm only down to one contract. Let's have a look at that. I don't like that. Let's get out there, I think. Let's get out there. If it lets me. No. It's still working on that line. No, let's leave that. Where are we? 1, 2, 7, 5. Let's just go for a couple of points. Yeah, it's holding on that line, actually. Let's see how that finishes. Got leg up, right leg up. Okay, just a couple of points. So it was a failure right up, wasn't it? That one there. I don't know whether I like this or not. Now let's that's where the failure was, wasn't it? I think we're okay, yeah. Go and get up. Not a massive fan of it, but I am 150, 150, yeah, 2 points. Oh, come on, let's get out of it. I'd rather just get out of this in all fairness. Let's get out for a 1.5.
Order
There
filled.
we go. 1.5 anyway. Just went on the fairly there. It's probably going to continue up. Trouble is, I'm trying to move over to. I'm trying to move over. That's it. With that, I got 2 points. I think so. One more tick above there. I'm moving over from Pats to. Do I use VWAP? I don't, mate. Actually, not because I've been trading Pats max price action, which is what that was. It was a failure. There was a second entry short there, a bearish bar, which triggered and pushed up and stopped that out. So I took a trade one tick above there, and I got. What did I get? A 0.5 out of? Yeah, 0.5 out of that. But I've been trading Pats now for 2 years and a few months. But what I find sometimes, it moves very quick, and trades can appear. That would have made the 2 points, wouldn't it? Excuse me. Trades can appear really quick, and I'm quite a hyper person, as you're probably aware. I talk quite quick, so I'm quite a wired person, and sometimes I can get into a trade without just having that little extra time to think. So the reason I've moved on to more, yeah, that would have made the 2 points. That's fine. The reason I've moved more on to a Max system, a Penguin system, is because it's based on bigger moves. So as we had that channel up there, we had a break. If we made 2 more attempts to go low, which we kind of did in a way, but it's a smaller case, his are more on a larger scale, but it just gives you that little bit more time to think. And I think that suits my personality a bit more. But it's very hard sometimes when you see a setup for Pats not to take it. And there's no reason really why you can't do both. Now, that was, I kind of expected this. We often get a leg up, then we have a break, and then we continue up and make a new high. Sometimes, though, I've looked to go long here, and it triggers you and comes down and then ranges. But obviously, we've only had one leg up, so you've got to treat it as a trend, really, rather than the possible range. So I do probably expect to get up to these highs. I was tempted just to hold on there and let it go, but I am focusing more on Penguin, so I just wanted to get my points and get out. So I took it one tick above there, about there, and yeah, it comfortably got 2 points. I got out for a 1.5. You're relatively new to trade. Okay, yeah, of course. You said that the other day. I'm remembering more now. Do you know what? Trading can give you a really nice lifestyle. There's obviously, you can earn a lot of money out of it. Now, I think most people have a nice lifestyle than make a fortune. So that's what I think. I think, let's say, if we're talking about dollars, what's the average wage in the US? $50,000 a year, $60,000, something like that. I would say an average trader, an okay trader, might make 3 times that, maybe a bit more. Obviously, a great trader might, a really good trader might make 10 times that. If you're exceptionally good at it, and you want to continue to build and scale up, you can make considerably more. But I would say the majority of successful traders will make a nice living, maybe 3 or 4 times what the average wage may be, something like that. But one of the main benefits for me that I like is, once you've learned to trade, you're never going to be out of days work in your life. You're never going to get laid off. You're never going to get sacked. If you want a day off, you have a day off. If you want to work, you want to work. It doesn't matter whether we got a national disaster. It doesn't matter. COVID, just speaking from a UK's point of view, 75% of the country got sent home, ordered to stay at home. Trader, doesn't make a difference. Probably the safest job in the world, actually, during COVID was a trader, because you're stuck in a room by yourself. But it's got those benefits. I mean, I trade for around about 3 hours a day. Even if you're earning, I don't know, let's say, for instance, you're earning 3 times the average wage, 150,000 a year. What a great wage for working 3 or 4 hours a day. You haven't got, what's your overheads? You've got a computer and an internet connection. About 90% of the population of the world's got an internet connection and a computer, so there's no overheads. I was in the building trade for a while. I had a van, insurance, tax, accident insurance, constantly buying tools and new tape measure and bits of this and bits of that. fuel, you're just constant overheads all the time, buying more and more stuff. Your gear gets rusty, gets mucked up by the compo. Most businesses like that, you're constantly buying and insuring things and upgrading your vans and changing this. But there's literally no overheads. Once you've got your computer, that's it. There's nothing else. So it's got some real benefits, but it is difficult to learn. But it is doable, absolutely. But most people fail. It has got a high fail rate. Most people fail because they find it's difficult and they give up. Not because it's not doable, because it has something a little bit unusual, like not a lot of jobs have. Most jobs, you go to work, you get paid on a Friday or, at the end of the month or whatever. There's no issues there. But you don't know whether you're going to earn money today or lose it. So you have to experience those emotions again and again, multiple times over months and a year or 2 or 3 years or whatever it takes to get used to the type of job it is. That the fact some days you're going to have loses, some days you're going to have wins, but overall, over a month, you're going to be up nicely. But it's that psychological side which causes you to make stupid mistakes and blow accounts. And that's one of the biggest vices for newer traders and even traders like me have been doing it a couple of years. I still blow accounts. But what I've found is I can build accounts now, but because I gave up work in December, I've been building an account a bit, taking money, blowing it, building an account a bit, taking money. I haven't given it chance to build to a comfortable level where from then on I know I can relax, focus on me trading, and I know I'm going to get a couple of thousand per month from that account. And then obviously times how many accounts. But it's got great benefits to be a trader. It really has, job security. There's just so many benefits to it. There really has. But you need to obviously get past that initial hurdle of learning to trade and learning to manage those emotions. It will come. For me, it's always been a case of it's time. Getting used to those emotions. You came from crypto. Yeah, I've swing trade. Well, I'm more spot trade a bit of crypto. I do buy crypto from time to time. I got a little bit of Ethereum. I got about 10 or 12 Solana. I got not a lot. I got a couple of $100 of Cardano. I've got some Saitama. I paid $500 for that Saitama. $500 for it maybe a year or so ago. It went up to $2,000 at the time, and now it's worth about 60 quid, I think, something like that. But obviously, we got the bull market on the way, maybe towards the end of this year or beginning of next year, so I expect that to get back. But I am starting to pile up on H-bar. I say pile up. I try and buy £100 every 3 or 4 weeks or something. But I've heard good things about H-bar. It's starting to get, I think it's definitely targeted at more sort of commercial adoption, but it does interest me, crypto. I definitely think it's the future. Put it this way, if I had a ton of money, I'd certainly invest some into Bitcoin and let it sit there for... If I was a young lad now, if I was a young 22-year-old lad now and I had £5,000 or $5,000, I'd shove it in Bitcoin and forget it for 20 years. You got one hell of a nice pension there. So I think crypto's the way. I had, yeah. Do my first Solana I bought was $150. No, it was $220. It had come down from $265, and I thought that was cheap. And did it come down to about $8 at its lowest? I bought some at 15. It went up to, did it go up to nearly $30? And I sold it off of them. And when it came down to $22, I bought. So I tend to buy it when it has a bit of a dump and then sell it when it has a bit of a run. And then when it drops back, I tend to buy a few more. That way you can just, without adding extra money, you can just slowly multiply. But I like Solana. I think Solana's a solid investment. I like H-bar. I like Cardano. I've been in an hour about Gala. There's a bunch of them. I've got a few bits of other stuff that when I first, when everyone first gets into it, they hear all these fantastic stories. Someone's, Shiryu Inu, and all this, and you get in there right at the top when everyone's talking about it, and then over the next couple of months, it just deteriorates. And but I am learning more and more about crypto. It does interest me. But I think the trick is just to buy regular dollar cost average, and they call it, don't they? Buy regular when it goes up or down. Just continue to buy a fixed amount per week or month or whatever. But I do keep an eye on it now. When it has a bit of a dump of maybe 10 or 15%, I tend to buy maybe a little bit more or something. You're actually only 18 today. Oh my good grief, you lucky devil. Oh, definitely getting into crypto is a good idea at your age, especially things like Bitcoin. Yeah, I probably have about 50% of my stuff in Bitcoin, maybe 25% in Ethereum, and then the rest mixed out of Solana, Cardano, maybe Polkadot, maybe some XRP, stuff like that. That's your future, that is. Let me have a look there. Yeah, there's no trade there, but I kind of like the way it's still working off that. Yeah, I'll be surprised if that doesn't get to the top there. I'll be surprised if that doesn't pick up 2 points, that bar. I'm not taking it though, because we're getting close to the tops. But it does look like a leg and another leg. Holds in Ethereum, yeah. Yeah. I'm actually 18 today. Oh, happy birthday, mate. Happy birthday. 18. I remember my 18th. Yeah, I think I spent probably the last 3 hours in casualty, I think. Yeah, I'm trying to forget it. There was a lot of alcohol involved anyway. Trouble is, your mates are idiot at that age, and I think they literally got a pint glass and filled it with different spirits and then topped it off with Guinness, and I necked it. Big mistake. And that's up until about maybe 9 o'clock in the evening, and the rest is a blur. Yeah, at 18, think investment, think long term. Don't just get your money and piss it up the wall. Think investment and long term. Definitely put some into cryptos, maybe some stocks, maybe stick a bit into Amazon, maybe Tesla, maybe bits like that. But yeah, the trouble is at your age, you waste so much money. Get it invested, and then, when in 10, 20 years, and trust me, that time will come quick. You'll have a nice second part of your adulthood. But yeah. So that looks like a hidden second entry long there, whether that's going to do it. But it does seem to be losing a bit of memento here. So so that was a failed second entry short. Plus 1.5 points. That was a max one, that is. I couldn't help take it for some reason. But I am focusing mainly on the penguin stuff. You're currently investing £5 a day. Good for you, mate. Good for you. That's it. Short and small amounts like that, small amounts and regular, that's the way to go. If I could go back and have my time again, I'm 54, so I'm quite a bit older than you. If I could go back and have my time again, I'd have absolutely invested money. Years go quick the older you get. And at 18, you got your whole life ahead of you. If you make good decisions now and start investing money, it'll pay off, when you're in your 30s or 40s. And if you invest right, you can be retiring in your 40s if you want to, but you can have a great life. Think about, your family that you're going to have in due course and all that, your wife and your kids. If you make good decisions now, and the best decisions you can make is invest and put it into multiple things. But yeah, stick to good things. Stick to well-established businesses and stuff like that, and stick to things like, your Bitcoins and that. Get Bitcoins and Ethereums, get into the more important ones, but spread it around a bit. So, what I noticed at crypto is some of the things I got involved in ended up losing tons of money. So get in small, little bits, invest. Instead of pissing it up the wall on beer and drugs or whatever on a Saturday night, get it into investment. Trust me, when you get into your 20s and into your 30s, life will get so much easier. I shit you not, it will. Make good decisions. Hoping to land an investment, a job as an investment bank in the future. Oh, good on you, mate. Good on you. Anything like that, any type of business like that, you're in the right place. You're in the know. But it's all about, especially when you're your age, if you've got your head screwed on, you sound like you have. Making your life better for the future. When I say future, I don't mean, into old age. I mean into your 30s and your late 20s, life will get better. get you settled down, find yourself a nice woman, have a couple of nice kids, nice house, lovely holidays. That's all you want out of life. That's all you want out of life. Yeah, I wish I could have my time again. I'd definitely do it differently. Singapore as well. In fact, when I started trading nearly 3 years ago, I'll show you the guy. I spent 6 months. Where is it? 6 months with this guy. I think the last investment bank he worked for in Singapore. He's a currency trader. Yeah, that's him there, Andrew Lockwood. He worked in the London Stock Exchange during the 1980s, but he's very, very grounded. He had this Forex Signals for a while, and then he's moved on, and he's got something called this thing now, City Traders. But he's very experienced. I think his last job was in Singapore in early 2000s, and he set up their computer system when all, because everything was done with paper and shouting and screaming and signals and all that. And he set up their computer system when everything sort of went more computerized in the early 2000s. And I did like a 6-month mentorship with him. He's very good. One of his big skills is explaining things. If you don't know nothing about trading, he's really good. It doesn't really matter what you start trading with, whether it's currency, whether it's stocks, it doesn't really matter. It's learning and understanding the charts, how people move, how these things move, what people do, all this sort of stuff. But it doesn't really matter what you trade, really, but it's learn the basics. But I learned the basics from him, from exactly what a bar is, the information it tells you, how it works, and all that sort of stuff. But it's very good. And then I suppose you just find your own way, something that suits you. But if you can get yourself into a bank, they teach you the right way. Whereas I'm, like a retail investor. I'm just an average, everyday Joe that's took an interest in trading and found my own way. Okay, so I took a trade there anyway. There was a second entry short there, a trap, a failure, which pushed up. We had this leg back, and it did seem to bounce along there, which is why I took that in the end. I'll get out of it for 1.5 because I'm really trying to follow the Penguin guy and not so much Mac. But if I do see a sitter, you just can't help trading. Yeah. The trouble with me, because I gave up work in January, I've gone through prop firms, and I think the last one I had about 4 accounts, and I was trying to take money out of it every month, and I was leaving them vulnerable and low. And then when you have a bad day, it just sends you into you go on tilt and ended up just blowing them. So what I've had to do now is go back to work just for a few days a week, and then focus on building the account so I can get to a suitable level. But so, in fact, I'm going to get rid of that in a minute, and I'm just going to draw a separate channel here. I don't necessarily think there's a bigger channel there. There might be, and in all honesty, it may turn out to be a range, because we had that bit of push off, and then it's going more sideways, and I'm just wondering whether we're going to come down and go more sideways. When we had that initial push up and a break at a new high and that leg down, once it started, I allowed myself to get trapped. So there was a second entry short there. If you're going to go short for another leg down, that's where you're going to take it. Second entry short, broke above this bar, but when that triggered down, it triggered them shorts, which you're thinking, if the shorts are thinking it's a range, we've had a leg up, break new high, we've come down, a couple of legs back up to the EMA, and then back down. If it was going to range, that's where it would probably come back down for another leg. but it triggered that bar, and I took my order one tick above there. So if it was one tick above there, trapped any shorts, and once it gets above there, the chances are then it's going up, and that's what happened. Yeah, it's hard like that. See, trouble is when you're learning, and if you're not learning, within some sort of a bank or an investment firm that are teaching you, they teach you and you get a wage for it as well. So, you've got top support. You've got guys who've been doing it for years. They've got a set format how they teach you. But whereas most of the guys on here are retail guys themselves, it's generally harder because you've got no one to help you manage the emotions, You've got to figure out... but it's generally harder. But to be honest with you, I got more respect for guys who start as a retail trader themselves and get to the stage where they're making consistent money, because the route is a lot harder than it is working for a bank. Because a bank, everything's set out for you, the whole caboodle, the training system, the wage, everything. But if you can make it as a retail trader from basically nothing off your own back, they're the people I got the respect for. Do you know what? I'm going to change that to there. And for me at the moment, this looks like it's going more sideways. So I'm just going to put that like that, which it's making me think whether we're going to push up and make a new, I don't know, but it does start to look like it may start to be doing a bit of ranging. I don't know yet. Good at trading. I might just end up doing it as my job. Yeah, I mean, put it this way. From what I know, and I chatted with a guy online, actually, a British trader. I forget his name now. He was on a TV program, actually, not so long ago. What's his name? He worked for various city banks. Andrew Lockwood hooked me up with his not messenger thing, with his Facebook. What's it called? I can't remember. He's a British trader. He was on a TV program a while ago. And I had a chat with him. And he said wages sometimes when you go to the investment bank aren't as good as you think. They don't get paid as well as you think. I think he was talking about this guy who'd been with this bank for 4 years, was only on something like $80,000 a year, something like that. It's not as good money as you think. Reality series guy, what's his name? It's on the tip of my tongue. He's got a few videos out. What's his name? Have a look. See if I can find his name. He's worked for lots of investment banks. It'll come to me. I forget his name. It's going to bug me now. Hate that. Yeah, he was on a program maybe a few years ago. They got a bunch of everyday Joes and tried to teach them to trade. Well, I think they were more they were traders, but they were more buying into stocks. And he was on a program for a bit. I can't for the life of me remember his name. I've just put trade. What's it called? It'll come to me. British guy anyway. He's got like almost like an Italian-y surname, I think. Have another look. Can't trade at the moment anyway, so. Oh, Anton Creel, his name is. Anton Creel, sorry. Someone's put it. It's all right, I had something over and over it. No, Anton Creel, his name is. If you look him up on YouTube, he has a couple of talks in, I think, a university or college. It's surprising how poorly paid some of these guys working these investment banks are. Sorry, I'd open up the YouTube over the comments. I was a recruiter into investment bank for 20 years. Trust me, they get paid pretty well. Really? Yeah, see, he said... let me just put his name in. He said... Anton Creel. He does a talk. Here we look. Anton Creel, retail brokers and trade executors. Yeah, he said. I forget what the actual video was. But the thing is, if you can trade, you can trade. Really, it's just a matter of getting your own pot of money, isn't it? And surely you can make more money than trading for companies. So perhaps things have changed. I don't know. But a video I watched of his said I was quite surprised when they snap you up fresh out of university or something. You'll have to have a little look. He was talking about associates. Yeah, that was it. That was the one. Yeah. Yeah, I was quite surprised how poorly paid they were. But yeah, when you see him, he's obviously not short of a few quid, is he? Put it that way. But I remember when I first started that mentorship I did for 6 months with Andrew Lockwood, you could have one phone call conversation with him in a week, so you'd make notes of anything you needed to say. And he said to me, because I kept talking about money, and he said, look, I'll give you a piece of advice and think about this piece of advice every day. And I don't actually, but I should. Forget about the money. Concentrate on the trading. You get that right, and I guarantee the money will just follow. But the trouble is, when you get onto some of these Facebook groups and you get talking to other people with Apex, and you start talking about multiple accounts, and you start seeing some of the payouts, 20,000, 40,000 a month, it's very hard not to get blinded by the money. And the trouble is, if you get a bad day, straight away you're not thinking about, okay, it doesn't matter what I've done today, it matters what I've done over the next few months. You get a bad day and you start thinking about the money. It's about the process. A successful trader is not defined by what you make in a day, it's what you make over a month, over 6 months, over 12 months. So a bad day doesn't matter. You know, if you've had 10 good days, a couple of bad days doesn't matter. It might seem like it at the time, but I found it hard to keep that in my head. And part of my problem is why I blew those last 4 accounts. I got about those last 4 accounts up to 10, just under $10,000. But I needed to take a wage, and when they were getting to around about to that $2,600 each, I felt the pressure. So I had to sit down with my wife and said, I've had $10,000 since January out of Apex. I could have taken maybe another $4,000 on top. But the trouble is, as soon as I was getting to $2,600, I was withdrawing, and then I was leaving myself vulnerable. So I'm confident now I've got the skills to build an account. But I need to get an account up to $8,000, up to $10,000. So when I do take $2,000, I've still got a comfortable cushion there. So I'm going back to work just for 3 days a week, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, just to keep an income in. And then I can allow my accounts to build. What people don't realise is 95% employed by investment banks don't trade anything. I suppose it's all bots now, is it? I suppose. Looking towards private equity side, because I enjoy meeting and talking to new people. Sally has said he would be happy you allow him back. He would be happy, or does he want to? What I'll do, mate, is I'll find out later. I'll do some YouTubing later, and I'll find out how to put him back on. I didn't take him off out of malice. I thought he was a nice guy. I was focusing on Pats, and I think I was getting sucked in by the amount of times he was winning. But that was my fault, to be fair. But now I've opened up a little bit, and I'm focusing more on the penguin style of trading. So in here, we've got penguin style of trading, we've got max style of trading, and we've got a bunch of other types of trading. So that's what it should be, really. Everyone's got their own way of doing it, and I don't think you should be denied a little bit of company in a day and a chat about general trading. That was me, that was, mate. I couldn't handle the fact of seeing him win, and then I got into a trade, ended up losing, and you know, it's good to listen to people, but ultimately you've still got to make the decisions yourself. And I got blinded by a bit of that, so yeah, I'd rather get him back in there. For me, this stream's more about getting to know other traders, and also allowing me to be noticed by traders, so I'm less likely to do something stupid. If you've got people looking over your shoulder. Took that triple test off the key entry point. That one, which one? That one and that one, or that? You took that one, did you? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that would probably be the better one to take, isn't it? So the trouble is, we've got a little bit of sideways there. We've had a pop out the top. Often we get the same at the bottom, and then we're back in. So I don't know whether it's going to push up or come back down into the. That's the trouble. See, earlier on, before you've had enough volume going through, it's hard to establish what kind of day we're having. Now, initially, we obviously had that push up, so you're thinking trend. But then the trouble is, it can stop at any time and come back down, and then go up and down, and then you end up having a trend day. I don't take your trades, but since it's so low, it's nice. I think that's what it is, mate. I think that's why most people are in here, not because of my super trading skills. It is a bit of company. But trading's a lonely old business, isn't it? You're stuck in a room by yourself most of the time, so it is nice to have a bit of a company and have a chit chat with other traders, find out what's going on. Have a spike in channel, all down the third touch. Yeah, I've sort of noticed a possible line between there and there. Sometimes it's easier, instead of picking a point here, just to go from here to here, isn't it? And then see where you figure out. But yeah, it's a possibility. The trouble is, at the moment, for me, yeah, I just think that's too much sideways, to be honest with you. But the trouble is, when you put that on there, you'll be thinking long at the moment. If you take that away, what do you see? We see a push up, a break new high, a pull back down, and a continuation up and some sideways. So in all fairness, if I put that on there, I'm thinking long. If I get rid of it, I'm thinking, I don't know, leg, are we coming down? We could come down back into this range and then go sideways. We could come down to the same level. We could come down to bounce off the midline, or we could push up. I got no idea. I thought it may be a leg and a leg, but the way this is turning out, I'm starting to have my doubts. So I just don't know. 1 minute, it looks like we're pushing up, maybe a break and a continuation up, and another leg, maybe a bigger channel. But after that bigger channel starts to go sideways, I'm not so sure. So at the moment, if I'm honest, I'm unclear what's likely to happen. As we bounced off there, and bounced off there again and pulled down, I think it's more likely it is going to come down, whether it bounces here or ranges in this top section. I've got no idea, but I'm thinking up, but after this, I'm not. That makes any sense. You enjoy the voice. My wife doesn't agree with you. So we got a leg down and a leg down there. That makes sense. Often when we do get a pop out the top, we get the opposite out on the bottom. So yeah, I don't know whether it's going to go in. I think it's more likely going to come down, but that is just a rough educated guess. But I'm not confident enough to get into a trade short until I know what's going on, because at the moment it's still a bit up in the air. I'll tell you what I haven't got on here. The Discord. Where's the Discord? Where is it? Yeah, I'll have a look tonight. What about how to get people back in? I've put just a block on the comments, that's all. Because if it helps you out, mate, it makes no difference to me in all fairness, but if it helps you out, I'm happy to do it, mate. All you've ever done is support me. When I've had crap days, I get messages and messages and messages, so as far as I'm concerned, you're a good trader buddy of mine. So, what's going on here? Someone's took a trade on here. Okay, so we got a break. Made 2 attempts to go high. In fact, that might not have been a bad penguin penguin trade there, possibly. Well, we're clearly coming down anyway, so that's worked out. Seems today, yeah, see, I don't use VWAP. Never used it. I know it acts as like a bit of a magnet, doesn't it? I did used to watch some, have some bookmap above my head, live streaming, just to sort of have a bit of a look on that, and I know it was on bookmap. I don't know, where is it at the moment? Is it somewhere around here, is it? It is probably available on this, in the indicators somewhere, I would have thought. Maybe not, maybe. Let's have a look. I don't know if it's in here or not. Stick to the basics, yeah. Sometimes the more indicators you put on there, the more they sort of, they counteract each other. No, it's not on here, I don't think. No. Yeah, I think, you know, I've heard traders thinking, you know, you think the best traders in the world have the most indicators on there. Actually, sometimes, and I've heard this from traders themselves, the less you've gone on here, often the better. Keep it simple. KISS, I think, was the word they used. Keep it simple, stupid. Sometimes the more stuff I have, you're looking down here and seeing what that does compared to what it can just confuse you. See, what I've learned is more price action. So just taking trades based off of what I'm seeing, not based off of what indicators. The only real indicator we use here is the EMA. Same with the penguin style, which I'm moving slightly more onto. It's the same as Max, but the entries are slightly different. Slightly bigger moves, a little bit more time to think. I don't use any except the 21 EMA, and what's that one? For some reason on the comments there's a little icon which covers the last word until someone else comments. And is it the 9? I think it's the 21 and the 9 you've put there. I don't think Exponential, how you doing, buddy? I don't think Ninja. No, I've had a look, it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, I could get it on something. It'll be available on something. It is the 9, yeah, right. And a lot of them don't even use chart order flow from the DOM. Yeah, there's so many. I've had the DOM up here before, and I don't know what the hell's going on, to be honest with you. I think most institutional traders use something like that, don't they? I think they focus more. I think a bar chart like this is more secondary to them. You know, from what charts I've seen of trades, they tend to use something like an order flow or something like that, with maybe a small bar chart up in the corner or somewhere out the way, just to obviously confirm what the market's looking like, as opposed to what the information's telling you. But I think like this is secondary. But as a pure price action trader, this is all you really need. It works perfectly fine. In fact, if you look at someone like Mac, I believe he's massively accurate. And when I say accurate, I mean well up into the 90%. But price action, really, once you start to get to understand it, I think the hardest part for an inexperienced trader like me is waiting for those setups. Sometimes you get in on, poor setups. And that's the hardest part. So we got a channel down here. We got 1, 2 attempts to push higher. Is there a channel down there? There may be. Yeah, there is. So we got 2 attempts to. That might not be a terrible leg. It's more of a patch trade, I think. It's too small scale for Penguin. You'd have to be out by the lows. So yeah. Shredder does have order flow. VWAP, but you need a full. Yeah, I have got a full license. I just don't use it because obviously I obviously trade with more with the prop firms. So we got like down here, 1, 2 legs up. Have we bounced anywhere here? Negligible. 1, 2. Just a couple of legs, but I'd rather that a bit closer to the MA, really. But I don't think it's a Penguin trade. The moves aren't big enough, really, I don't think. Yeah, so we got a leg up, made 1, 2 attempts to go higher. Let's see, would he take that, or would he wait for it to push through the MA? Trouble is, you take it, push through the MA, you're at the bottom, so FMDs will have a higher probability of being rangy. Yeah, it's starting to. So I was quite surprised when that stopped there and came back down and continued up. I expected to start ranging, and in all fairness, it has gone up so far. And just retested the top, and it does look like it's starting to range in all fairness now, doesn't it? Whether it does it above the midline at the moment, I don't know. I'm just trying to think if there's an... not really. There's still scope to come down some more, I think. Okay, 1 leg. There's sort of a couple of legs there, but it's a bit sidewaysy, and I'm not really interested. Because it could trigger and pop out the top. It's not close enough to the EMA for me, really. I think a second entry would be a better option. Range just means it's going mainly sideways. When it's trending, it just goes up in a channel like that, but ranging, it tends to go between 2 areas, 2 top areas, that type of thing, up, down, up, down, up, down, above the EMA, below the EMA, below the EMA. Obviously, if you've got a nice, really nice trend channel going up, they're a lot more easy to trade because you're just basically looking for longs off the key entry point with a good signal. But the trouble is, with these, a little bit more complicated. You can get caught out and trapped a lot of the times at them. These are sort of really more difficult times to trade. But as I say, we got the FOMC news later. A lot of times it does tend to go a bit sideways. Okay, if we get a break above the top there, second entry short, fade to breakout. See what happens here. Down, 1, 2 attempts to go higher. It's got a break above there though, really. Stop around there. New bar, push up, drop back down. I'm just going to get an order ready, just submitted. In case. I'm only trading 1 contract. Okay, so we need that to stop there. Another little bar to form. Push up, drop back down, nice and bearish. So we pushed down, made 1, 2 attempts to go higher. This might be okay. If this finishes bearish, this is something I'm interested in. There is a possibility it could continue up, but if it finishes right, I'll take this for maybe a 1-to-1. The only slight issue I have is we touched here and we touched here, so it may bounce off here. There's clearly 1, 2, 3, 4. There's clearly some support there. So it's going to be a bit tricky to get through there. And the way this is triggered that and not pushed down very strongly, I wouldn't be surprised if this short triggered and pushed up. 1, 2. I'm going to see how this finishes. See how big the bar is. I've got a feeling we could continue up. It might just bounced. Okay. I don't mind that for a 1-to-1.
Order submitted. Yeah, I think it's going to continue up personally. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Order cancelled. Order cancelled.
What's making me think about not going short is the fact that it's bounced 1, 2, 3, 4 times off here plus here. So I don't really want to be going short there because it does look like we're bounced. In fact, if that triggers a short, it may trap some shorts and push higher. But no, I don't like it. Might come down, but I'm not interested. I think that's a trap, that is. I think so. Fail second entry short. Yeah, I think you're more right, Clay. Try once. There'll have been some. I mean, I haven't sorted my what's it out, have I? I haven't reloaded my historic, but it is also a bit sideways and a bit choppy, so I'm not convinced taking a long here is going to continue up. I think it's more likely than down. How's that like? That surprised me. I didn't think that would do that. I don't think it'll go right down. Yeah, it hasn't. I didn't think it would. Ooh, what's interesting? There's a failure there. So we had a channel down here. We had a push up. Made 1, 2, 3 attempts to go short. I'm not even sure a long gear is right with the penguins. Penguin style. Right, no, I'm staying out of this. I'm a bit unclear about what's going on. This area is confusing. Yeah, absolutely. Stay out. Yeah, I agree with that, mate. I agree with that. Yeah, it could do anything. When it goes like this, sometimes you'll get a double trap. It'll trigger shorts, push up, stop them out, trigger along, come down and mess you both around. So this is, yeah, I agree with this. It's a no-go area, really, this. It's simple, really, isn't it? When it starts to go sideways and congested, just stay out of it. But the thing is, as a trader, well, as an inexperienced trader, you're so eager, aren't you? And I think what you've got to do is find that balance where, you know, when there's trades available, when the market's moving nice, you look for your trades. But when it's doing this, That's sort of where part of this. I think people underestimate, the patience you need. Really, patience is a massive part of it. It doesn't seem like it, but really, if you're not patient in the right times, you're gonna jump into trades and blow all the good stuff. So when you calmly wait for the good trades, you're gonna get into one of these areas and end up blowing your winnings. So there is a failure there, but I'm not a massive fan of the bar. It is a bit choppy. It could still come down and retest this. There's nothing that is telling me to go long there, or short really, because it's clearly finding support there, and it has here. So for me, I think it's possible it's going to range between this area. Whether it continues on that, I don't know. But at the moment, I think it's ranging. I think the bottom is there at the moment. And if the bottom is there, it is probably likely going to push up, but it's unclear, this, and choppy. And when it's like this, that's where sort of traps happen, and that's where you can get yourself into a spot of bother. I see. Yeah, you have to wait for the perfect setup. If you acquire that skill, you win the game. Absolutely, yeah. It's simple, really, isn't it? But putting it into practice is very different because you're so eager. Does anybody else still like me? When they sit down at their computer and they first open up Rhythmic, and then they open up, you get the little butterflies in your stomach, sort of kind of nervous, excited, what's going to happen. And you're so eager to want to make money, but you have got to sit here patiently until literally a trade jumps in front of it and goes, "Ooh, here I am." Those obvious ones, we get a perfect trend going up like this, and we get a pushback, pull up, pushback, a perfect second entry long with a nice bullish bar like that off the key entry point. When we see them, you can't get your order in quick enough. In fact, sometimes I don't even bother waiting for it to trigger. If it's a solid enough bar, I'll just buy the damn thing, because chances are 9 times out of 10 it's going to push up anyway. But yeah, it's what I find is I trade better when I don't take a trade in the first 20 minutes. I give myself time just to settle. I don't think it's a bad thing to implement, actually. Just giving yourself maybe 15 minutes, relax, let the chart sort of, start moving and try and figure out what's going on. I think you make better decisions after maybe the first 15 minutes, something like that. One hedge fund guy said he patiently waits until he sees the money on the floor, then he goes and picks it up. That's exactly what it is. That's what I mentioned, the perfect setup. And in all fairness, and I'll tell you what, we'll all agree with that. If you get a nice channel like that, and you get a trade that's pushing up like this, and it goes like this, something like that. I'm not the best drawer in the world, and it goes something like that, and you've got a lovely big bullish bar like that, a perfect two-legged back, beautiful bullish bar right above the EMA. EMA's facing up. Those trades, I tell you now, just do not fail. I've never seen one fail that's that obvious. If I haven't, as long as you've got your channel right, but if you've got your channel right and it fits perfectly and you get a trade like that, the trend like that, they just do not fail. The only reason something like that would fail if something happened in the news quickly that no one knew about. But those trades just do not fail. That's so accurate because it's such a lovely setup. Every man and his dog jumps on it, see. If you've got a perfect second entry long like that with a lovely bullish bar and an uptrend, no one's going to sell it. Everyone's going to buy it. And if it is such a good setup, everyone buys it. And those trades then usually do push up nice and strong. So if we're in an uptrend and I see a bar like that from now on, or a trade like that, I'm just going to hold on to it. Because there's no point in getting 2 points out of a brilliant trade when I could double it or triple it and maybe follow up per bar. But when we get a trade like that, they just don't fail. And when you see them, you get this this massive rush of adrenaline, don't you? Please don't go without me, because we don't often see them. But when you do, I see what you mean. But picking the money up, it is like someone drops a wad of money in front of you. There's no. Hold on a minute. Let's think about this. Shall I get it? You just run over and grab hold of it. But yeah, that's why I said, although I'm moving on to more penguin style, if I see an absolute sitter, I'm absolutely 100% going to take it, because it's a skill I've learned to pick up. So you don't have to necessarily trade one particular style. I think, and I've said this all along, I think that's why Mac doesn't show us his trades, because I think he breaks his own rules. But that's okay when you've been trading that long. You don't need to be following anyone else. You can just do your own thing. But he has to teach us the right way, because obviously you've got to have a certain format, so we can. Yeah, there was a failure there. I'm not. What was that? Excuse me a second. My apologies. Daughter just coming from school and trod on the dog's foot. Poor. Sorry about the yelp. But yeah, I mean, you could say it's bad. I thought it looked like it was bouncing off here, and it has done. The trouble is, you don't really want to be getting there, because although it is looking like it's going up, it's still really sideways. See, if you were going for the failure, you'd be trading right into that lot there, so that's a bit of a no-no. Yeah, EMA goes flat as well. It's uncertainty. It's uncertainty. If the thing is, what we got to think here is we've got institutional traders trading this, or whether they're bots or whatever they are anyway. But we can well experienced people trading this, and if it's going up and down, up down, up and down, it's uncertainty. And if experienced traders who make a lot of money are uncertain, what can you do? You've got to follow them, haven't you? So I am guessing it is ranging in this area. So I expect to get up somewhere up here. Touch. So it's confirmed that channel now. So if we do get a second entry, you could take it. But I find it very hard to forget about Mac and focus on. But to be honest with you, because it's not a massive amount of movement, I'm finding it hard to find a penguin setup at the minute. Just trying to think. Push up. We've got a leg back and a leg back. There is sort of two legs back and then a push up. See, it might be an okay trade to take. Someone's taken one. Where have they taken one? Around about here, I think. This could be a penguin trade if it breaks through the MA strong. Yeah. Well, I'm looking at someone who's taken one up there. Someone's taken one. We've got that leg up there. Hold on a minute. 10,000 tick chart they're looking at, I'm going to say. Leg back. Quite solid. Yeah, I think this area above here, with your stop maybe here, is not a bad place to take a trade. I could have possibly taken it. If it comes back here, let me have a look. If you sort of take it there to there, have a look. Yeah, you leg up, okay. So we got leg down. But the bigger picture is we've got a push up. We've got leg back, push up through the EMA. If we can get an order here, I don't think it's a bad. Hopefully, if we can get two legs down, you can still jump in on that. Put your order there. That's 14. So I'm going to get a buy, yeah, because there's someone else in that trade. I'm going to get a buy order.
Order submitted.
And put it in here. See if it picks me up. Come and get me. And I'm
order
in one
submitted.
tick lower than that. So that's okay. So let's put that up to there. Okay. So I'm in there. So we've got one leg back, push up through the EMA, took my trade there. I managed to get in a tick earlier. So I've saved myself a tick there. So that's not looking good. Mind you, did that the other day. So I'm in on one contract anyway. So let's put an order in. It's fine anyway. It's fine. So let's put it in, say, let's put that, say, there. So hopefully, so yeah, leg down, push up above the EMA, off this. We've hit this 3 times. You'd expect it to push up, wouldn't you? I'm getting out break even. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it. I've decided, because if I'd have got out the other day, 3 ticks from my stop, I wouldn't have made the $400. But I'm only trading on a contract here. So this loss for me at the moment, 975, is 3 points. So it's $150 on one contract. So it's not a lot, really. But I kind of like that, thinking about it. We've gone 1, 2, 3, and then a push up through the EMA. And that's where the trade should have been taken, should you take it. I saved myself a tick. In fact, that should be down. That should be there. 1 tick below there. I've saved myself a tick anyway, so 3.25 points at one contract. It's $150 and a bit of change, so that's fine. We're out plenty of time from the top, so I think that's okay personally, which is why I've got in on the limit order. That's the beauty of this as well. Because of the moves are bigger and there's a bit of a distance, you can get in on limit orders if you miss a trade. So we'll see. If it works, it works. I'm not bothered whether it works or not. The fact is, well, I'm not bothered about losing the what's it. I'm just trusting the process. But we've got a push up, we've got a leg back and a leg back, and we bounce 3 times, once, twice, and that third one, nice and bullish. The next one pushed strongly above the EMA. So I'm in. I'm gone for it. So I'm not touching it. My stop's in where it's in. I don't think the stop will be any lower. Mind you, someone else has put their stop down here. So perhaps that's where the stop should be. So that would make that 18 ticks. So that would take that up to there. Okay. 6.5, 7.5, 8.5, 9.5. So it's a 4.25 point. So on one contract, so it's only risking $200. So that's fine. Yeah. So I'm in a tick early. So yeah, 17 ticks that one. Delta looks bullish. Yeah, but if you look at this push out, then we've had a bit of a break. You'd expect to get up to here. I'm out comfortably before this. There's plenty above that. So sometimes you've just got to take the trade and then let it go. Now, the difference with Max, you don't get... I mean, see how much time have I got in to realise that trade and get in there? I could have got in multiple times here, because as long as I know that, as long as I haven't already got up there, I can get in anytime, can't I, if I decide to get in and then just put my stop where it's supposed to be. So I'm happy with that. Win or lose, I'm happy. I'm trusting the process. But yeah, a guy's put a trade in, a guy or a girl. Samantha. I don't know, male, female, I'm not sure. Samantha. Someone else has put I'm long as well. But on the bigger picture, they put on a 10,000 tick chart. We got a leg up, 1 leg back, 2 legs back. We bounce 3 times. That one then takes off above the EMA, and we do tend to work up, which is a good sign. We're going to have a break now and again, so it might be a leg up, a break, and then another leg up. But I'm out before the top, so I'm happy with the trade. I'm trusting the process. Yeah, it's much clearer. on the, yeah, if you look at this, let me just see if I can drag this in. Can I or not? No, I don't think I can. I can drag it in like that, can I? I don't want to put anybody's name in, see? No, I don't think I can. Okay, let's flick over to the 10,000 just a second. Damn, I haven't got it on here, have I? Okay, but yeah, you can see the 10,000 leg, and then a push up. So I'm just going to let it go. It is what it is. Trust in the process. Let it go. See, if you're trading, if your risk management is in the right category, so you're only risking maybe up to massive 5%, something like that, you can put a trade in and relax. The problem becomes is when you're trading too much, and that's on your mind, and that's where things, your stress levels change. Now, the awkward thing is when you first start an evaluation, you haven't got a $50,000 evaluation. That's bullshit. What you've got is $2,500. That's it. So if you're trading 2 contracts and your average risk is maybe $250, you're trading 10%. That's quite large, really. I've had people say to me 5% with futures with this style of trading because it's high probability trade. So I think ideally 1 contract in an ideal world. But when you trade in evaluations, because they're so cheap, they make them so cheap, you take risks, and I do it myself. If I had to pay $150 for an evaluation, I damn well wouldn't take stupid risks. And that's why prop firms sometimes, it's great to have the cheap, but it can make you make risky decisions thinking, I'll see if I don't get lucky, it's only cost me $30. How much you have to make, how many days. So with Apex, before you can withdraw, you've got to hit $2,600 and a minimum of 10 days. The trouble is, you can take $2,000 then, but you're left with $600, but technically $500 because it stops at 50,000. Do you know what? We've got a leg down here, 2 attempts. I think this is a 1 push up, 2 push up. I think this is this is coming down, I think. Let me have a look. Let me have a look at this. Yeah, I'm going to go out for break even here. It's going a bit sideways. It might continue up, but I've got a feeling we got a leg down. We made 2 attempts to go higher, close below the EMA. And tick up. Why aren't you moving? Now get me out. Come on. Yeah. A leg down. 2 attempts to go higher. Right, okay, hold on a minute. Now, the trade's already in, is it? It does look like the trade's changing in all fairness, so I'm just going to leave it. No, let's get out. Let's get out. Do you know what? What I'm going to do is if it pushes down to the middle line, I'm going to get out. What I'm seeing is it's triggered that short. So if it pushes up above here, I think we're golden. If it gets below there, I'm going to get out. It's all right. I'm looking at, we got a leg down. We made 2 attempts to go higher. Failure, broke below the EMA. That to me looks like we're coming down, although we're actually already in a trade. So if that gets down below there, I'm going to get out there. if it pushes up and triggers that, then we're going up and I'll put my stop back. But I think I may be trapped here, so I'm just going to give it a little bit of space. Bouncing off that top. If that comes down any lower, I think that's coming down. Now there's not enough for 1-to-1. No, let's just leave it where it is for now. If it comes down to the midline, I'm going to get out of it. I'd like it. If it breaks above there, I think we're going up. The only thing is, for me, it's looking like a leg down. 2 attempts to go higher. Failure. Down to the bottom. But I was just thinking that there's a lower high there that might trap some traders. It's triggered. So if it pushes up above there, I think we're golden, but it may come down. So yeah, I think we're stuck here, I think. Okay, I'm just going to leave it, let it play out. I'm already in it, see, yeah, things can change and develop, can't they? But I'm just going to leave it for now. Leg, long, because I did that the other day. I nearly got out here and it went up. So I'm just going to leave it. The trade was, we got a leg down, leg down, push up above the EMA after 3 touches of the bottom. It did this the other day, came down and ended up working. So I'm just going to let it play out. Every time someone starts to come back, there's no point in jumping out because it does look like we got a channel up there. 1 leg, 2 legs down, continuation up. I'm just going to leave it. Sometimes these pullbacks can spook you and make you start to question your trade, but I'm going to let it alone. Just leave it go. It takes me out, It's fine. What do I miss? How much do you have to make in how many days? It's minimal. It's up to you. But you can't take anything until you hit $2,600, and you have to trade for a minimum of 10 days. So if you trade for 10 days and you're above $2,600, then you can, you do what you want then to withdraw. The vids I've seen, Penguin, his price is going 1 tick to his stop. I'm not sure what you mean there, bud. Do you know what? I wonder whether we've got a channel coming down here. I wonder. Touch. It does look like it, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm in the trade anyway. I've got to let it go. Just going to let it go now. He's almost stopped out and holds the reach back to his target. I'm not sure what you mean there, but see, I did a trade like this. It was a couple of days ago. It came right back and then ended up pushing up. And it came about 4 ticks off me stop. So I'm just gonna. There's a couple of other people on the stream got into it as well. See, so, but on the 10,000 tick chart, it looks like a leg up, 2 legs back. It tested this sort of 3 times and then pushed up quite strongly above the EMA. So it might be just leg back, and then a continuation up. It might be, it might not be, but I've got to learn, and I'm happy to let the trade lose if that's the case. I think it means it gets to within 1 tick of your stop without hitting and then revert. Oh, I see what you mean, yeah. See, I'm 1 tick below the lowest of the low here, so I'm in the safest place anyway, but see what happens. But it could be, there's a leg up there, 1, 2 legs down, and a push up. I don't know. I couldn't say it better. Excuse me a sec. Okay, sorry, so my wife's turned up. The dog's about to go mental. Yeah, it could be a channel down, or it could push up. It could just, because that looks like a channel, and then we got one leg, two legs down. So I don't know. It is what it is. All good, we got it. Yeah. I'm not really bothered what it does. I'm just trusting the process. But on the 10,000 tick chart, it looks like a leg up, one, two legs back, strong push up above the EMA, indicating we've hit this 3 times, we've tested this 3 times, and now we're actually moving up. So I'm just going to leave it. Let it go. If it wins, great. If it doesn't, there's no point in every time I start to get a bit of a pullback, I jump out of a trade. I'm never going to learn like that. But I know sometimes the penguin guy does get out if it goes a bit sideways. But for me at the moment, it's a leg up, 2 legs back. We'll see anyway. If I stretch it out, does it look any different? It is a little congested. It could trigger that and come down. I don't know. I'm not bothered. Just let it go. Right, I'm just going to take a quick 1 minute bathroom break. It won't be a sec. There we go. Pushed up strongly. See what happens here. Let me see if this is a... I don't know. We have come up here. It looks like a leg, couple of legs back, and then a strong push up. So I think we're okay. Sometimes you just got to trust the process, haven't you? Did exactly the same. Went up, came down a couple of times, and then we rocketed up last time. So that's probably just a bit of a pullback. It is a bit choppy. I could get out of it. If it gets up so far, I'm just going to drop my order in because it is a bit choppy. And the penguin guy will say, if it goes a bit sideways, he might get out of it. So what I'm going to do is just leave that there. And because it is a bit choppy, yeah. We'll see what happens now. If we can get above here, I'll get back out of the way. No, let's just leave it where it is. Where it is. It is looking like it's pushed. It's pushed strongly above the email. Let's just leave the bloody thing. If it continues to come down now, then I think I'll go against it. But you've just got to leave these things, really. Let's have a look. Yeah, there's a couple of people have taken this trade. 1, 2. There's 3 or 4 people have taken the trade. Push up, 1 leg back, 2 legs back, pushed above the EMA. Where are they out? Same place. Yeah, they've taken the trade the same place. So, we'll see. There is a possibility it could be something like this. It's possible. I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll see. 1 minute rockets up, next minute down it comes. Look at that. 1 minute you're $50 up, next minute you're $100 down. Looks like the market makers games. Yeah, it is what it is anyway. I'm just leaving it. Just going to leave it there. Leave it where I put it. I could have took $50 out, but there's no point. You've got to learn, haven't you? You've got to just let it go. But he does get out of it when it goes a bit sideways. And in all fairness, it is going sideways, isn't it? So, I'll tell you what I'll do. Let's just get out. Because it is clearly going sideways. Trouble is, every time we get a bearish bar, we get a bullish bar. Push up, made 2 attempts to go lower, push that. I don't bloody know. If I've taken the risk and I'm down here, I might as well just leave it. If it does get up here, then I've another chance it's going to push up. But there's probably going to be some shorts in here, so it may just have a massive surge up. Who knows? Just going to let it go. Let it sort itself out. I don't think I'm going to get break even anyway, am I? It's another one. Yeah, I know, because I'm still quite new to this style of doing it. And 1 minute it pushes up, and you think, okay, now I think we're going to get it, and then all of a sudden it drops. So yeah, it's what do you do? What do you do? Did the same the other day. It came right down here, and then it ended up working straight up and making $400. So, but we're making lower lows. But it could just be a couple of legs down and then a push up. Who knows? What's the difference between where I am? 9, 6. Sorry, 6, 9, 650. $750. That's a point less, isn't it? If we can get above that bar there and that bar there, there'll be some stops there quite likely. It could just ramp up. It wouldn't surprise me. There's going to be some shorts in there, surely, but we have come off the bottom 3 times, and sometimes we will come back a bit and then continue up, but it is what it is. Well, my stop's down here where it should be, so... It is doing that, but it will a lot of the time. It was doing the same there, making higher lows, and all of a sudden it turns, so it might go up a bit of a pullback and up. Because I'm still quite new to this penguin thing, it's a little bit uncertain to know what to do, but sometimes it'll trap shorts and then rocket up. It might be a leg up, a bit of a break and then another leg up. When I'm uncertain what to do, sometimes you're better off just to leave it. A lot of traders will say when I'm in a trade, I'll just leave it, and it is what it is. I would say more times than not, I've got out of trades and they've gone on to win. Yeah, I've gone more onto Penguin now. If I see a patch trade, I'll still take it, but I've gone more onto Penguin. Well, I don't understand why. Yeah, that's why I took my trade there. gone more onto Penguin, and I'm on the Discord, and there's 1, 2, 3. There's 3 other traders in the same trade. No, I've gone more onto the thing about Penguin is you have a little bit more time to think. See, Penguin's chain of thought would be there's a leg up. We made 2 attempts to go lower, pushed up above the EMA. We bounced 3 times here and then pushed up above the EMA. But obviously we're going a bit down and a bit sideways. So sometimes it can do this though and drag a load of shorts in and then rock it up. So it might just retest this. It may come down and get me. I don't know. I'm in the trade anyway. I'm just going to leave it. If I get out now for the sake of 1 point and it rockets up, it's just not worth it. See, if it gets a decent bar, it may encourage buyers. It's bounced twice off there. See, my thing's down here a little bit lower, but yeah, you've got to see the trade go for the trade and it prepare to take the risk. And I'm taking it. I'm prepared to take the risk. It's fine. It's more important about learning the process than the sort of outcome at the moment. Really, I'm not trading a live account anymore. See, so. It's learning the process. So I know the Penguin guy does say occasionally he gets out of a trade. But what happened is we had a leg down and a leg down, and then that happened. So I thought, okay, 2 legs back after a break, and now we're pushing up. And all of a sudden it turned quickly. And then it started pushing up. So 1 minute you're thinking, shall I do this? Shall I do that? And I think sometimes... you're best off just leaving it, because I've done it before and I've got out of trades for maybe a 1-tick loss or a break even and loss of fees, and the trade's gone on to win more times than not. So I think sometimes you're better off just leaving it. So we've had 2 bounces off there. Now it looks like we're clearly ranged at the moment, so it may work up from there. You just don't know. And if I'd have left things where they were, it may work. So it's come down so far now, so it's very close to where I've been. So there's just no point now. I might as well just leave it. Because if it's going to bounce off, this is the area you probably expect it to bounce. Now, if it does go up and I get out for break even, then it rockets up. I've gone through all that just to get out at break even when it's bounced back off here. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is an evaluation, but I had this evaluation before I started anyway. I'm trading 1 contract on it, so I'm not bothered whether it loses. I'm not bothered at all. I'm changing the process. I'm moving over to max because there's a little bit more time to think with this process. But you're still going to lose trades. But I spoke to a guy and he said it took him about 3 months to convert over to max to this because they're very similar. But, you know, my stop is in the lowest point there, so it's come down and bounced twice and pushed up, so it could now continue up. And if I got out for the sake of it's just sometimes you just got to leave these things. Learning stage, so don't stress about it. Yeah, I'm not bothered at all, to be honest with you. Penguin has said before, it looks like it's going short and long at the same time. Yeah, sit on your hands, yeah. If it loses, it loses. I'm really not bothered, to be fair. I'm really not. This is just one evaluation I bought a week or so ago, which I had anyway. So if it loses, I'm not really bothered. I'm more concerned about the process now. I'm going back to work 3 days, so I don't need the income from trading anymore. So I'm concentrating on learning the process. And not only that, if that pushes above there and there, it's going to take out a lot of stops. But I know the Penguin guy does say if it gets sideways, he gets out of it. So, you know, I could get out of it. But look, 1 minute you're thinking, oh, look, if it gets above there, if I get out of it now and it rockets up. But I could get out now and guarantee not to lose a penny. But if I've sat through all that, I might as well just let it bloody go, mightn't I? But it is struggling to get up, isn't it? So, I'll tell you what, let's just get out of it. Because he does say he gets out of the trade, doesn't he? Let's get out of it. Okay, I'm out of it for break even. Now, it might go up, but the peng... look at that now, look. Look at that. In all fairness, the penguin guy does say when it goes sideways, he does get out of it, and that might have been a case where he'd have looked to get out of it. It got above there. It may push up now. I kind of like the way it did this, but at the end of the day, you know, some trades, it can go sideways, and it's worth getting out of it, because if you get out of it, you're guaranteed you're not going to lose a penny, you know. So there you go. It is part of it, getting out of a trade sometimes. I got out of it for break even, so that's all right. No harm done. It might be because it's FOMC, but the trouble is, the more it struggles, the more it will eventually come down. So if it gets above there, see, it might rocket up. But that's just the thing. What do you do? You know, sometimes people go, I get out for break even. If you do that, it rockets up. But, you know, every time it's coming up, it's coming back down again. So I'm thinking, hold on a minute. We've come up to here. We've tried 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Enough's enough now. Maybe time to just get out of it. And, you know, I haven't lost anything. So, you know, guaranteed not to lose anything. But when it's like this, unpredictable, I have heard the penguin guy said he does scratch the odd trade, and I think that's a perfect example. When it pushed strongly, if it was going to go up, it would have gone up after that second push down, and it hasn't. It's still struggling, which tells me the sensible option is to get out of the trade. So that's what I've done. So I think that was a good decision on that last time. It is hard to know sometimes what to do when a trade goes against you, but I've had so many trades that have gone against me and I get out and they go on to win. But I am trying to follow the process, and it's not as structured as Max, the Penguins, but I have heard him say sometimes if it goes sideways, and you've had enough of going sideways there to realise, okay, now if I'd have been on a PA account, I may have got out of that a little bit earlier, but as I'm not, I've left it. But it's clearly struggling and going sideways, so the sensible thing is to get out, and I've done it. So happy days. I consider that a good decision. Good decision. Yes, it's clearly struggling, isn't it? You know, I thought for a minute maybe there's another channel there and it's going to continue down, but I mean, the encouraging thing is why I left it a bit more, because it bounced twice and pushed up above the EMA nice and strong. But same again, it's finding it difficult to get up. Because FOMC, yes. Okay, so let's say Penguin says if it goes sideways, get out. There's no argument there. It's clearly going sideways. And it's going sideways on an FOMC day. So I've got out without any losses. So happy days. You know what I mean? You can consider that a good trade, or a good decision anyway. In all fairness, with the way things are looking, you just don't know what it's going to do. And that's the whole, that's the premise of getting out while it's going sideways, because it's turned into what looks like a good trade to look like something's uncertain. And you wouldn't get into a trade when it's going sideways and choppy. So it makes sense, if you've got the option to get out of a trade, maybe do that, you know. But I think it's more likely to push up, but the odds of that trade working have clearly dropped. So the sensible thing to do, it doesn't matter whether I'm on a sim or a valuation or a PA account, you've still got to make the right decisions, and the right decision there was to get out. Right, folks, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break. My wife and daughter are home from work and school, and I'm just going to make myself a quick cup of tea. And I will be back, so don't do anything stupid. And I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay, I'm back. I was expecting to see it up here. Okay, so it's clearly just going sideways. It has bounced, so I don't know. It's hard to say what it's going to do. It could push up, I don't know. But got out for break even anyway. It's clearly sideways, so the right decision was to get out. Just take a quick photo of mine. Sorry about that. Okay. Hey Edward, how you doing, buddy? Johnny, it's struggling because it's FOMC. Yeah. So you just don't know what it's going to do there. So far, it's still safe at the moment. It's hit exactly the same spot, so who knows? But in all fairness, I think I made the right decision. It's clearly going sideways. So, yeah, there's no argument with that. Good time to scratch a trade. I'll give it one last chance and see what happens. I kind of want it to come down. Well, I don't want it to come down for the guys who've taken it, but one tick below there and that's it. Yeah, it's out. So, good decision there. Got out for break even. In all fair, it didn't go much above that, so there wasn't a great deal of profit available. Maybe $75, something like that. What was that? 2 points. Yeah, so the right decision anyway. So happy days. Yeah. But, you know, in all fairness, looking at the bigger picture, if you're looking at the 10,000 tick chart, you see a leg up there, one leg back, one leg back. It bounced 1, 2, 3 times there, pushed up, higher low, and then the next bar then pushed strongly above the EMA. So you're thinking, okay, we've had 2 legs down, we've bounced a couple of times off here. You'd think it's more likely we're going to push up to this area. So that's why I took the trade. And in all fairness, about 3 other people. So normally the trade will be okay to take, but obviously FOMC day. And not just that, sometimes for whatever reason, markets can just go sideways, a little bit unclear. But the good thing about this style of trading is I had plenty of opportunities there to get out. Because you've got such a distance between the stop there, you know, it does give you ample time to think about the trade and make a decision. And I left it. Now, if I was on a PA account when it came up that time there or here, I'd have probably got out of it. But it could have had a leg up there, could have had 2 legs back. And when I saw that bar and it pushed up, I thought, okay, that's where it's going to go. But then no quicker had it pushed up, but it dropped back down. So there you go. It's just a bit unclear. Pushed up, bounce. You're thinking, okay, it's going to range you and then maybe have another leg out opposite to this at some time, but you just don't know. FOMC has, you know, I suppose there's rumours going around about FOMC. I don't know, is there stuff ever leaked? I don't know. Sorry, I did say hello to you, Edward, didn't I? I think so. How you doing? Blippy McBlip. How you doing, bud? Yeah, I think you're right, mate. At one point, you know, when that happened, you're thinking, okay, yeah, happy days. Maybe even after these 2 legs down and that one, maybe a couple of legs after this. But obviously then it came down again and came up one last time. And obviously I got out. I saw the light eventually. But it is hard to know what to do. You know, sometimes you'll have traders saying, you stopped there for a reason, leave it, blah, blah, blah. But I think most traders that I know, if it does start to go sideways, then they'll consider the option to get out. The good thing about getting out with break even, you're guaranteed you ain't losing anything. But if it's going sideways, then that's telling you lots of traders are unsure whether it's going up or down. And so I think the best thing you do is just to get out of it. So happy days. Scratching a trade is part of it, isn't it? I don't often do it, actually, but the good thing about having a slightly larger stop there, I mean, I am trading on 1 contract, so that technically then that would be down to 9 contracts, sort of 9 ticks if I was trading Pats with 2 contracts. So it's not a huge risk, but it does give you more room and plenty of room for error. But after it did that twice and pushed up, I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is the last chance to get out. So there we go. But yeah, I kind of like the idea of having a 10,000 tick chart just to show you a bigger picture, because I didn't necessarily see that straight away. But on the 10,000 tick chart, it looks like a leg. Well, it is a leg up and a couple of legs down. So actually, from a Penguin point of view, I don't think it's a bad trade. Probably is it's a bit congested there, isn't it? So, or is it? We got a leg down and then a. Is it? I don't think it is. Be interested to see if he took that trade. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't. If he did, sorry. Oh, please, what's going on there? Yeah, see, also as well, we got this leg down, made 2 attempts to go higher. So, you know, there may be another angle to this. We've had a break. 1 was multiple attempts to go higher. So even if you'd have gone 1 attempt to go higher, 2 attempts to go higher, gone short there, you'd have probably been out before it came up and took you out there. So, be interesting to see. Yeah, if you took that one there, push below the EMA, say maybe took it there, you'd be, no, you wouldn't have got out. It would have come and stopped you out. So, but for me, it's a leg up, 2 legs back, and there we go. Interesting to see now. The most recent Penguin picture is up here, so he's not had that other pull back in his trade yet. So just get rid of him. Scratching trades, that apparently does not work. It's not only about not getting beaten, but in such a trade, externally hoping that sometimes it prevents you to enter on the better place later on. Yeah, Absolutely. But I mean, sometimes it does. You take a trade and it'll move up, and then it'll start to go a bit sideways. But yeah, was it a good trade? I don't know. See, I've not been trading this thing long enough, really. Although I do watch his trades, I don't know. But it'd be interesting to see what his take on that. But what I did see is there are a couple of other people in the forum that took it, and someone also published a picture of the 10,000 tick chart, and it looked a lot clearer 2 legs back. So push up, 2 attempts to go lower, push up above the EMA. So I don't think it was terrible, but I mean, you got to take into consideration FOMC date. Now, I'm told FOMC date can make a difference. In all honesty, I haven't got a clue whether it does or not. I'm not really in the know there. But I know sometimes FOMC days can be a little bit choppier. Does it necessarily mean a trade might change? I don't know, in all honesty. But, it's a learning process, isn't it? This takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. And with me sort of converting more onto the Penguin side, there's obviously an extra learning curve in the mix. But I got out for break even without any losses, really. It's only on one contract, so there's a $4 fee, which is neither in nor there, really. And obviously the decision was right in the end. So was it a good trade? I'm not sure. Love the way they get progressively smaller and smaller and smaller as they go down and then up. Yeah, slight possibility of something bigger maybe if we continue down after this, maybe. Who knows? Leg down, pull back, leg down. I don't know. At the moment, really, it's just a break out of this, but we haven't really been going long enough, really, in this area. I mean, we've touched 3 times, but who knows? Who knows? Okay, so we got this break out the bottom of here and a quick strong pull back to the EMA, touch it, and drop. So are we now working down? I mean, in all fairness, if we're talking about ranging, we've really struggled to get up, haven't we? So if it can't get up, what was the next thing down? Maybe, I don't know. Oh, what is going on here? Yeah, Max got it pretty much identical, actually. What he hasn't got is he's got that. That makes sense, actually. Max got that. That makes sense. Leg down, break, new low. So leg, push up. Yeah, he's got the start of a range there, small one, and bins it about there. He's got that channel going up. Yeah, got nothing different than mine really, so be interesting to see what happens here. So yeah. Yeah, Artie, yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah, even before patience has got better slowly. Trouble is, sometimes with Pats, when things move quick, I've got a tendency to jump without thinking clearly. So with these moves and decisions, you wait for that to push up. Okay, that's a good sign. Then it pushes it above the EMA, rather than picking something at the bottom here and it triggering me. It kind of rules out that, because you almost allow a trade to start moving in the direction and confirming it's moving, rather than maybe picking a bottom here and getting triggered and stopped out. So it sort of stops that from happening, really. But it does give you a little bit more time to think about a trade, and that's kind of what I think that's probably going to suit me. Because some max trades can happen pretty quickly, and the trouble is with me, I think patience does get the better of me, because I'd be looking for trades in here when, in all fairness, it's choppy and it's probably not the best place to look for a max trade. But we don't get as many really good quality second entries as we used to. Why that is, I don't know. Perhaps this is the norm, and that's the way it was with COVID. I got no idea really. But you know, if we do end up getting a really nice second entry short, obviously those are the trades I will be taking. But that was a Pat's trade. We got a leg down. Well, it was a second entry short. We got a channel down there, a second entry short that triggered, and when it started going up, that's the bit that got me into taking a trade up there. And I just put my order one tick above that bearish bar there, because there is two legs up and a second entry, but after it pushed higher, that's telling me we're going to continue on higher, and obviously that worked nicely. So leg down, quite a nice bearish bar. Nothing for me, I don't think there. Nothing there. Yeah, you do change slowly. I think you're forced into being patient, because you realise if you're not patient, those days where you're patient tends to drift, you get stung. And it's like anything really. It's exactly the same as a body. You can manipulate the body to do amazing things. You can turn someone in, from being 5 stone overweight to being, slim and muscular. You can develop the body by working on it and putting pressure on it, and the right training, the right sleep, the right food. It's exactly the same with the mind. I mean, you look at someone who ends up, I don't know, getting into crime, going to prison. Someone who's never been in prison before. I've never been to prison, fortunately. But, I mean, you can imagine what it's like going into prison for the first time. Pretty scary. Bound to be, isn't it? A massive shock, a reality shock. What happens in 2 years? You've been institutionalised, you're used to it. It's the norm. But you can imagine the emotions going into prison for the first time, can't you? But it's like anything, really, any type of thing where there's lots of emotions. It takes time to get used to them. And you can develop the mind, and, you punish the mind again and again and again, and not start to say, I'm not accepting that anymore, and it'll change. It's just a lot more obvious with the physical side. But with the mind, obviously, it's a little bit more mysterious, isn't it? Okay, so we've broken out of here. We've come back and we've sort of retested the bottom here, and it's dropped out pretty strongly. So what do I expect? I can see us coming down maybe now. We've tried to push back in after this, and it sold off quickly. So I don't know. I think it's more likely we're going to come down. Nothing here for me to trade though. that's a possibility. Would take us down around about to the open, so yeah, I usually mark it, but I haven't done lately. 46.03, 45.03. Sorry, it's around about here, isn't it? So that I used to mark it 2:30 UK time. So it will be there, I'm guessing. Well, the trouble is, how do you know it's there or there that it actually opened? That's a thought. How would you know that? Would it be at the bottom of it? Actually, that's a good question. I usually put it at the top, thinking it pushes down, but should you put it at the bottom? Yeah, I've got the open marked here. That bit of software does it. The current open. I was just thinking the New York Open was at 2:30 there, so it would have been during that bar. But is it at the top of the bar or the end of the bar? Does it matter? I would have usually put it at the top. I don't know actually. Just drawn a blank there. My head's gone blank. US time. Yeah, US time. Hold on, that's moved again. That's weird. That's 2:30 oh no, 2:30 UK time, so around about that. Oh, sorry, let's get rid of it. I can't think in all fairness. Yes, I mean, the official open there is marked by that yellow line. That's the current open. The official open, when obviously the market shut down for its maintenance from yesterday and then opened at, 6 o'clock? 6 o'clock US time. But I usually mark the New York Open as well, which is 2:30 UK time, 9:30, which is one of these bars here. But I can't for the life of me think, do we put it at the top of the bar, at the bottom? Where did it open during that bar? Top, bottom? I'm not sure. So we got a leg down, 1, 2. I don't know what's going on here. Between the two bars. Yeah, somewhere around here. Can't think anyway. What's going on here? tell you what I'm going to do. I think trading with a penguin might be useful to have a 10,000 tick chart. Just to see the bigger picture sometimes might help you make a better decision. Let me just get rid of a few things. So I don't need that. Figure. Yeah, okay. Got the 10,000 tick chart on here as well. Just gives you an idea of a bigger picture. Sometimes with all this you can miss the sort of bigger picture, but there we go. Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. Daydreaming. Yeah, it's a bit choppy, isn't it? I'm going to say it's not very clear. There's actually not a huge amount of volume. So there's probably a lot of traders sitting today out, I think, isn't there? I'm not sure about that. Not very clear, is it really? Just quickly, this 80% off finishes a week today. I'm not sure what it's going to do then, because I'm guessing it'll go back to 50% off and then maybe 50% off resets. I don't know whether they're getting a little bit tighter on their discounts, because we had that 50% offer on for about 3 weeks. I was really surprised they never brought that 80% in earlier. So my code's down there, as you know, if you do use it, or you have used it, I do appreciate it. So that finishes a week today, 27th of September. Yeah, my code down there, UKFT. If you use it, I appreciate it. So it's a little bit untradeable in all fairness, this, isn't it? We've got a higher low there. Trouble is, we're still making sort of lower highs, so the exception of that, so it's hard to know what's going to go on. Maybe 2 pushes down and a push up. I don't know. 1 leg down, 2 legs down. I don't know. Someone has taken his trade. Wow. Oh, NQ. Someone's traded NQ for 15 contracts. Gone long, I think. Yeah. Gone long on this part. Well, yeah, NQ is a bit different, but it almost looks identical, in fairness, doesn't it? God, actually, I'm looking at someone's chart here, and it's in black. Not less strain on the eyes in black. So there's a higher low there. Trouble is, we are making lower lows, and it is just a higher low. There's leg down, push up. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on here. That'd be more of a max trade. There's nothing I see penguin style in here, really. I don't know what's going on here. It's just very sideways and a little bit unpredictable, isn't it? I don't think there's any type of channel there. It's a possibility, but I'm not a massive fan of it in all fairness. Yeah. What time is it? Okay, FOMC's in 2 hours. I might ditch it now, to be fair. I may come back for an hour after 7 o'clock and have a look, see what's going on. The double bottom makes me add more contract. Channel break as well, yeah. It's not doing a lot, really. It's just going a bit sideways and a bit choppy, isn't it? It's probably got a lot to do with the FMC news pending. The volume's definitely low, that's for certain. I know quite a few traders and Pats don't even bother trading on FOMC days, so that's probably why. I mean, there's obviously low volume. There's no argument there. So yeah, I'm going to knock on the head, guys. I might come back at 7 and just have a little look, see if it's doing anything. But failing that, I will see you all tomorrow. It is Thursday, 21st tomorrow, where I'll be in October. 10 days, 11 days. Unbelievable, isn't it? Unbelievable how quick the year's gone. So yeah, you're still streaming again at 19. Oh, you mean 7 o'clock. I suppose I could do. I suppose I can just open up a stream and just stream, and if anyone's around, you might get. See, I don't know if you're subscribed. Thanks, Artie. I appreciate that, mate. If you're subscribed, I think you just get the nod, don't you? That. So yeah, I can switch it on for an hour from 7 o'clock. I suppose I'm not doing anything else. Yeah, okay. I'll just jump straight into a live stream. I won't set one. I'll just jump in at 7. Well, 10 to 7, just before 7, just to see what's going on. It's almost like a bonfire night, isn't it? That's the financial equivalent to bonfire night, where you see loads of sparks and stuff. But yeah, I'll be back, yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll jump back on the stream about 10 to 7, 5 to 7. Why not? Nothing else I'm doing tonight. We'll see what's occurring. So okay, so I'll catch up with you guys later, just before 7, say 10 to 7, 5 to 7, 10 to 7, somewhere around there. So have a great day if you're carrying on trading. And we're getting a bit of fast movement now. But yeah, good luck, and I'll see you back here just before 7. Okay, take it easy. See you shortly. Bye for now.